Sleep is the quiet superpower behind healthy skin, mood, and metabolism, as well as cognition and memory. But many people struggle with getting a good night's sleep. In this episode, we review the important role of sleep in health and beauty and discuss a potential new treatment for sleep help and what you can do to get a better night's sleep. Welcome to Queen City Skin, the podcast where skincare meets science and confidence is always in style. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Rostan, board-certified dermatologist and founder of Charlotte Skin and Laser.
And I'm Dr. Emily McLean, a board-certified medical dermatologist at Charlotte Skin and Laser. We're here to cut through the noise, from social media myths to marketing hype, and bring you clear, evidence-based advice on caring for your skin at every stage of life.
Whether you're looking for everyday skincare essentials, the truth behind trending treatments, or lifestyle tips to age gracefully, you'll find it here.
Because healthy, beautiful skin isn't about perfection. It's about feeling confident and healthy.
Let's get started. Well, hello, listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we were just going to touch lightly on sleep, and specifically sleep and beauty. I hear it a lot in my practice. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I guess what I hear most is I'm stressed out or I don't get sleep. And there's sometimes a lot of reasons for it. People have small kids. I wasn't sleeping much a couple weeks ago because I got a puppy, but he's not a puppy. I adopted him. He's almost a year old, but just getting adjusted. You know, these things wake you up. You're hitting menopause. My friends are talking about, and patients. I wake up every day at 3 a.m. and I'm just awake. I'm there. I'm ready to go. But lack of sleep can really lead to some health consequences. It's been linked to increased stress, a higher risk of Alzheimer's, higher cardiovascular risk, heart attack, stroke, that kind of thing. Even linked to increased risk of cancer. That's controversial, but maybe related to the stress axis. And well, what does it do about your skin beauty? I think it affects your skin beauty as well. So I think skin and good sleep is part of a healthy lifestyle and having great looking skin. So let's talk a little bit about how poor sleep, what it can do to your skin. So your skin repairs overnight. We talk a lot about damage and the mechanisms of damage, the sun and environmental toxins causing oxidative injury, smoke, sun.
Just general pollution.
Pollution does that. But overnight is your skin's chance to heal, for your body to heal. We've all heard about sleep. Well, maybe not. Maybe if you're young, you haven't heard about it. But sleep gives your body time to heal. It gives your brain time to wire and heal. And it gives other organs in your body time to heal, including your skin. So if you don't have that healing time, you're going to have more issues with your skin. It also disrupts the skin barrier. Now, in dermatology, we talk a lot about the skin barrier. Your skin is a barrier, and it protects your skin, protects the structures underneath from environmental injury. So when we talk about using a topical, the reality is not all of it gets into the skin because it's got to get through that barrier. People talk about collagen creams, and the collagen is such a big molecule it doesn't get in. But if we disrupt that barrier, things can get in. Your skin can be triggered by things, and you can see an increase in inflammation in the skin. So you can have increase in eczema and psoriasis. Lack of sleep can make you more stressed. It can dial up that cortisol level. And if the cortisol level is up, that's your fight level. You got fight or flight. And if you're cortisol, you're like, all day long, increased inflammation, but also worsening of acne, worsening of rosacea. Also, decreased sleep has been associated with dark circles under the eye and a dull skin appearance. There's also the case that the reverse can happen, that skin disease is leading to lack of sleep. And as dermatologists, we try to really address this because sleep is so important. But if you're itching and scratching from eczema or psoriasis, you're not going to be sleeping well. So sleep can have an important role in the health and beauty of our skin. Without good sleep, you're going to have puffiness under the eyes, dark circles, dry skin, dull skin. It's not going to be well hydrated because we've disrupted the barrier. It's not going to be well oxygenated because blood flow increases to the skin during sleep. So there really are some real connections with sleep and skin beauty. So what is recommended for a good night's sleep? I think that's just kind of fun to talk about that. So it is recommended that you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. So if you're struggling with that, what do you do? And sometimes I actually talk to patients about this, but a cool bedroom is recommended. So this is kind of where the hot flash is an issue if you're menopausal. If you're waking up and you're drenched in sweat in your bed. There's actually a device, Dr. Elizabeth Moran, OBGYN here, turned me on to it, called a Euler. And I bought one. I'm not hot at night. I'm freezing. I'm cold all the time. I'm constantly cold, but it has a heater on it. I actually like it for the heater, but I'm not using mine now. It's disengaged, but it's app driven. We put it on a schedule. It's a mattress pad with little coils through it, through which water flows. So it makes a little whir at the end of your bed, the little machine, and you can set the temperature and you can set it on a timer. So you want it to be colder in kind of the deep hours of the night. And then as you wake up, you want it to get warmer. So my husband loves his. He absolutely loves it. He loves it. I think if he could travel with it, he would travel with it. And I've recommended to women that are telling me about hot flashes, the first thing I tell them is get help with your hormones. Mm-hmm. Go talk to someone. But this can really help if you're having hot flashes or if you can't go on hormone therapy. And I can tell you, if you set it to get warm, like 15 minutes or a half hour before your wake-up time, you will wake up. So temperature can be very important for sleep. You're also supposed to avoid interruptions. That's what I'm sure a lot of our listeners are like, yeah, right. Small kids, dogs, whatever, interrupting. Avoid interruptions. It's supposed to be quiet, dark, cool, calm environment, including like blue light from all the electronic thermostats and things like that. It's recommended you kind of cover them up. And no tablet before bedtime is recommended. No light from our devices. That's what's recommended. I actually find it quite relaxing to maybe play a game of solitaire or read a little bit on my tablet before bed. But I don't really have any trouble falling asleep. I'm usually just exhausted and go right to bed. You're also supposed to reduce alcohol intake. And I think many people can relate that if they've had too much wine, it might be easy to fall asleep, but then it disrupts sleep as you go on through the night. And then lastly, avoid the caffeine. Hopefully Dr. McLean is listening. She likes the caffeine. I'm an after dinner coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee after morning time, but like if you're at a restaurant or at a talk, they sometimes offer it and I can drink it without trouble, but I'm the exception, not the rule. So you're not supposed to drink caffeine through the day. So you get a good night's sleep, and you're supposed to avoid naps, or you can look up online how to take a nap. There's all these recommendations of the optimal time. I'm a napper. I like a nap if I can get one on the weekends, but that's kind of my catch-up time. I'm a very early riser, and I typically don't get to bed at the right hour. My ideal is 9 or 9:30, but it just doesn't happen, or I get reading something. So I'm often a little sleep deprived and try to catch up on the weekend. So I hear from patients about sleep, and I feel sleep deprived. It's not necessarily because I can't fall asleep, but I get up early, or sometimes I just wake up and something keeps me awake. But we participated in this study from a device made by a company called Neurostar. And this device is FDA approved to treat depressive disorder, compulsive OCD, as well as anxiety disorder with depression. So depressive anxiety disorder. That's actually a code. So it's got FDA clearance to treat that. And we were investigating whether it might help sleep. So Robyn, can you tell us a little bit about what the NeuroStart device is?
It's a repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation device. And when you see it,
Yes, it's
is like this little thing. It's
right.
only that big.
Right. So its abbreviation is TMS, sometimes with a little R in front of TMS, R for repetitive, T for transcranial, M for magnetic, and S for stimulation. And so it's likened kind of to an MRI in terms of the magnetic, but it's delivered, like Robyn says, through a little handpiece. And describe to our audience how you put a patient on the NeuroStar device.
You recline the chair. It's kind of got a preset recline. You recline it, and then it's kind of got this arm, and you have these, it's actually these glasses that have like a tape with a little angle thing where you measure it.
So it's something to hold. So it's
like a
carefully
placeholder.
measured to hold the head
Yeah.
in play. So the one thing that has to happen with this is the pulses have to occur in the same place each treatment, and it has to be mapped to a certain area. So the first time you come in, it gets mapped to an area. And the idea is with these repetitive magnetic pulses, it rewires some neurons, so you have improved mood. And we investigated whether it improved sleep. And then what does it feel like, Robyn, when you turn the device on? What does it feel like?
Because I actually had like a little test run with it when we were initiating it. It felt like just someone tapping on my head.
Yeah, that's what I have heard
what
too,
it
like
is.
a tap, tap,
Just a
tap,
tapping.
tap, tap. So not to get too scientific on this, because we're just kind of talking, but I will tell you, it works phenomenal for mood. And I mention that because suicide is an epidemic and uncontrolled depression, and up to 50% of people fail an oral antidepressive medicine. This is not magic out there. Here, take your pill and you're cured. So looking for these alternative cures, and this is actually not becoming that alternative. It's mainstream, but people just don't know about it. So I do talk to my patients about it for mood, because I have a lot of women concerned about their children not responding to the depressive therapy. But if you really do lots of repetitions, you achieve a greater effect more quickly, but it becomes a little intolerable. It's like a squirrel beating a nut against you. And you can get used to it, but it's fairly intolerable. So patients undergo a series of treatments. We tried to make it as easy as possible for the sleep study. They had 3 treatments for a week for 2 weeks, and then two for 2 weeks.
For 2. It's a total of 10 treatments, and they lasted about 25 minutes. And I mean, most patients, I actually had a couple patients fall asleep
Wow, that's great.
during it.
Yeah, that's
They just
phenomenal.
fell asleep.
Yeah, there is one contraindication to this device, and it's if you have a seizure disorder. So that's the one thing that would keep you from having this treatment. Otherwise, it's very well tolerated, and hundreds of thousands of treatments have been performed. This is not fringe medicine at all. But so we participated in this study because it's fun to be at the cutting edge of things and learn about new devices and treatments, but also we polled our patients before we did it, a broad range of ages, and it was phenomenal, the amount of people that reported sleep problems, sleep disorder, and I believe they were screened for mood disorder on that as well. We did not look at cognition in this study because to do cognition studies, they're very, very hard. But let's get to the nitty-gritty. Robyn, tell us, well, some of the feedback you heard from the patients that underwent the study. We're not going to talk about the results of the study. It's not published yet, but we can talk about, she can tell you what patients felt. And I remember some patients being very disappointed the study was over. They get a sustained effect for a while, but they do need to have it kept up, maintained.
Kind of maintained. It was sleep quantity and quality. Like they were sleeping better. They were falling. I think one of the biggest ones was they were falling asleep faster and staying asleep,
That's big.
which is huge.
For those who lose sleep, falling asleep and staying asleep, that's big. Well, that's important. So can you think of a particular patient that was just like, this is great. I'm sleeping so much better. I remember one by the numbers, but I didn't individually see
There
each
was
patient.
one or two. It's actually a gentleman. He just the biggest problem falling asleep. Would go to bed and 6 hours later he'd still be awake.
Eeh.
And he was falling asleep a lot faster.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's a big lifestyle change. And you can imagine the impact on his life of not getting sleep, for trying to fall asleep for 6 hours. And it becomes this, it really drives patients crazy because they're trying to do what they need to get out of this I'm awake cycle, and it almost makes it worse, and you're stressed out about not being able to sleep. So that's just phenomenal. So maybe sometime soon, this treatment will be available for you. We can do these treatments on patients now. Just because it's not FDA approved doesn't mean we can't do it. The device is FDA approved, but we can use it for other applications, of course. And that might be something that is an offering to our patients. But I think the moral of the story is when you see a patient who's not sleeping well, suddenly begin to sleep well, the change is so phenomenal. And we're not a sleep clinic. We are a full-service dermatology and cosmetic dermatology clinic. But these things come up, these lifestyle issues. So throughout this podcast, we'll occasionally talk about some of these lifestyle things that we're not expert on, but we help patients with daily, and we hear about it daily. And we welcome your questions. We can try to address them or steer you in the right direction on anything that we've talked about. So I think Robyn has told us the sessions were clearly very tolerable. People falling asleep during them. They were very helpful for some patients. We did have, what was it, a 12-week follow-up after no
12-week
treatments?
follow-up, yeah.
And do you have a sense for how sustainable the effect was, or can you remember? You didn't see the patient in person for that visit,
Yeah,
so
it was
it
like
might not have
phone
been
call,
as
email.
memorable.
I feel like some of them were sustained. And we had a couple that didn't see results during the active treatments. They started sleeping better after the active treatments were over.
You know, I kind of explained this goofy science about it. How did you explain it to patients? Hey, we're going to offer this treatment for you in a study. Now, she had to follow study protocol about, you know, what you're consenting to. But before that, patients would call and say, well, what's this thing all about? How would you explain it to them?
It's basically just a device treatment. Because some people were like, do you need sedation, or thinking it was radiation or something.
A lot of people
like
thought
that.
it was
Yeah.
radiation. It is confusing. It is not radiation. It is not dangerous. I said there was one contraindication, a seizure, and that's just because rarely, like, it's
like a
been thought to induce,
0.003
induce a
tiny.
seizure. So,
Yeah, I said, well, it's just this device that basically kind of rewires your brain to sleep better.
perfect summary.
Yeah.
Device that rewires your brain to sleep better. But outside the device, I think we've given some good tips here. Clearly, tip of the iceberg on how to approach sleep. There is my friend gave me Matthew Walker's book, and I don't know why. We were talking about sleep and menopause, and I don't know. I read it. It's good. It does take a deep dive into sleep. He's got a website and a podcast. I don't listen to them, and he is sometimes controversial. He'll show up on Peter Attia's podcast as well, and I've listened to them. But there is a lot of stuff out there about sleep. It's just kind of fun to think about how it affects your skin, We as dermatologists think about it. If you're suffering from a skin disease, is the skin disease making your skin worse? Is your lack of sleep and stress making your skin worse? What's going on? And then cosmetically, and also as we offer lifestyle benefits to our patients, it might be a nice offering in the future. But we appreciate you tuning in today. And Robyn, thank you for sharing with us your insights from the study. And we look forward to tuning in to you on the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to Queen City Skin with Dr. Elizabeth Rostan and Dr. Emily McLean.
We hope you're walking away with tips and insights you can trust, and maybe a little extra confidence too.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss a dose of skincare wisdom.
And if you have questions you'd like us to cover, connect with us at Charlotte Skin and Laser or find us on Instagram at Charlotte Skin and Laser.
Here's to healthy skin and feeling your best. We'll see you next time.